Well, everybody, welcome to the podcast. This is the Residual Earners Podcast. We are back with episode 3. Couldn't be more excited. In the studio for the second time with my father, who it's just a pleasure doing this podcast with. I look forward to it every week. Just want to say welcome to the podcast.
And we didn't skip a week this time.
We did not skip a week.
We didn't have a wedding this time.
No wedding, no nothing. Our focus is on the podcast, putting out the content.
But I will show them my Yeti, father of the bride. Jordan's sister, our daughter, got married here a couple of weeks ago, and she got me this. So I'm father of the bride. Made me feel special.
That's right.
Yeah. And I'm excited to be here as well. It's always fun.
You've traveled a long way to be here. Let's give the people a little bit about your week, what you've been up to. What have you been doing?
Wow. I went to Monday. I went to Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Gave a speech there. And then Tuesday night, I was in Princeton, New Jersey, gave a speech there. And then last night, I was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and gave a little talk there, and flew home like bright and early this morning. My flight was at 6:30 a.m. That was my flight time. So I was up early.
And doing networking all week?
Oh, yeah. That's what I love to do.
And the momentum is still there, and the excitement's rolling?
We had over 50% guests at the first meeting. I mean, people are looking right now. I'm telling you, with the economy, they're looking. And I'll tell you a quick story. One of my ex-coaches, a guy named Gary Bothan, I showed him this business about, it was 16 years ago probably. And he wasn't interested, and that was fine. Still love the guy. I got a call about a week ago from Gary. I'm thinking, man, I hadn't heard from him in ages. He goes, "You still doing that networking thing?" I said, yeah, I'm still doing it. He goes, "The economy's kicking my butt. I need to join you. Let's get together." And that set a record for me. I'd never shown a presentation 16 years and then 16 years ago, and then now them want to do it. You know, I've had it happen 2 or 3, 4 years, but never 16 years ago when I showed him.
Definitely. And that just goes to show you never know what's going on in people's lives. You never know who's looking. You never know who's needing an alternative to make money. And that's where network marketing is so good for so many people.
Well, I always tell folks that no doesn't mean no. It just means not now, because you just never know what's going on in people's lives. You know, a guy can get a new promotion and he is pumped up, gets that new parking place with his name on it, makes a little more money. And then 3 or 4 months into it, he realizes that that's a little more money, but he's got twice the work and he's away from his family, traveling all the time. And that new promotion isn't as exciting anymore. And now he's ready to do something else. You just never know what's going on with folks.
Definitely. So what else is going on? It's been a week since we've come live to everybody. I know you've done some traveling. You're a little under the weather, but hanging in there. What else you got going?
You got to be tough sometimes, Jordan. I mean, I don't know. I've got sinus or something, but I'm hanging in there. I will tell you kind of a funny story. I don't know what happened here, but Monday when I got there, I wasn't feeling great, but I got the hiccups. Well, I mean, everybody gets the hiccups every once in a while. Well, they went away, and I thought, okay, good. Then a couple hours, they come back. And then a couple hours later, they go away. And for the last couple of days, I've had off and on hiccups. Never in my life. Never have I had off and on hiccups like that. But thank the Lord they're off right now. Or guys, if I start making funny noises, it's because the hiccups came back. How's that?
We showed him where the mute button is. So if he starts making too many noises, he knows what button to hit. But
well, tell me what's going on in your world.
It's just chasing kids around. That's kind of the name of the game. The kids, they're in all different activities. I have 3 kids, 6, 4, and 2. For y'all that don't know the kids,
they're wonderful, by the way.
They're great kids. They keep us busy. Grayson, big hockey player. Willa's gotten into skating now and gymnastics, swimming. Tatum, the 2-year-old, is into swimming and gymnastics as well. Grayson is doing his first lacrosse practice today, so he's got another sport with a stick that he can go whack people with. So we'll see how that goes, but it's nonstop.
I told Jordan when he said Grayson was going to play lacrosse, I said, can you not play a sport I know something about? I played football, baseball, basketball, and a little soccer. I coached football and basketball. Never played hockey, never played lacrosse. I don't know the first thing about him. So I wish he would play something I could actually help him with, you know?
Definitely. And last year was Grayson's first season of playing hockey. And one day I told my dad, go get him dressed in the locker room, and I'll let you take it from there.
I'm an athlete from way back. I still kind of feel like an athlete most of the time. And I'm pulling stuff out of this hockey bag that I had never seen in my life. I didn't know if it went on his head or his feet. I mean, I couldn't tell. So I'd pull something out and I'd look at Jordan and go, where does this go? It was a humbling experience for an ex-coach to not even know how to get your grandson dressed for his sporting event.
It's there's a lot of gear, and this little guy's very particular about the order it goes in, how it's strapped on, how tight his skates are, everything. So it is a process to get the kid ready every day.
No, and I've never literally taped stuff on, which he likes to have his stuff tight.
He likes his stuff tight. But last night we went and bought his first lacrosse stick and lacrosse balls, which this will be interesting. He messed around with it in the garage, and he seems to have the talent for it. So we'll see if it sticks or not. But I think anything he's out there running, having fun, he just loves doing.
It'll be a blast. I people probably like hearing a little bit about this stuff, but they probably wanted to hear something about how to make residual income.
That's it. Let's get to the meat of the podcast.
Jordan and I decided that we would talk today about who should you really talk to about joining your business. I think that is a question that comes up quite often, and I'm going to start off by saying anybody that can fog a mirror. Anybody that can fog a mirror. We're going to give everybody a chance. But I will say this, my business started off slow because I was going to all the people that I thought needed the business. Broke Uncle Harry, that hadn't had a job in 7 years, people like that. And my business was just puttering along. And when I finally came to the realization that I needed to be talking to people that had some success in their life, and it doesn't have to be financial success, but just people that are motivated, people that are leaders, people that, can do some of that stuff. When I started going after those folks, my business took off. And my doctor's in this business, my dentist is in, my CPA, my attorney, my banker, a lot of the professionals in my life are in this business. When I started talking to people like that, what I figured out is they have a sphere of influence. And if they're doing it, a lot of other people want to do it. And
Definitely.
That's when your business starts growing. Broke Uncle Harry usually struggles with credibility.
Definitely.
And that's it. What I wanted to really work on today, and I mean, we'll probably make this a 2 or 3 part series because we need to go into what do you do after you make your list. But I really wanted to focus on the list because in network marketing, your list is your capital. I mean, that is your valuable asset in this business, your network, your list of people that you know. And I'll start off by saying this, and then I'm going to talk about who to put on there, but never prejudge. Never prejudge, because we all tend to want to look at a list of names and go, yeah, I think she'll do it. Nah, I don't think he will. Yeah, I think he might. No, she won't. What I figured out, guys, is the ones that you think will, won't, and the ones that you think won't, will. So you just get where you talk to everybody.
Definitely.
Let them make that decision. And if they say no, so be it. No big deal. But give them a choice.
Definitely. And I think that kind of what I said earlier, you don't know what's going on in people's lives. You don't know who's looking, who's needing the extra income, who's maybe has a kid and a new activity that needs a little extra income each month to make it happen, and sees the opportunity and says, hey, this one's for me.
Well, we're going to talk about making a huge list. Why don't you take A right there, that first one, Jordan?
Every person in your phone, go through, look at all of your contacts. I know one thing that we talked about, I think in episode 1, was going back through all of your old text messages, going back, seeing every single name. Who have I not talked to? Who has it been a few years? Because as you heard earlier, maybe somebody's looking from years in the past. Who can I talk to out of this list? This list is in everybody's phone. It's right there in front of you. It's a great starting point to get a list of people and get the ball rolling.
I'm going to say this. There's a fortune in here. I would dare to guess that everybody watching this podcast has at least 100 contacts in your phone. I'm guessing some of you have 1,000 or more contacts in your phone. This is a fortune because you've got their name and their number in your phone. But what I'm going to tell you to do is don't leave that stuff in your phone. Put everybody down on your list, because you never know who's going to do it and who's not. I'm going to say it one more time. The people you think will, won't, and the people that you think won't, will. You talk to everybody. Come on, it's a short conversation. If they want to see a presentation, it takes them 15, 20 minutes, and then they've made the decision. And a lot of times, they can refer you to somebody even if they don't want to get involved. But I'm telling you, guys, there's a fortune right there. Don't leave that fortune laying there. Put it on a piece of paper. I get people that say, well, I got the list in my head, or I got the list in my phone, or I got, I'm going to tell you right now, you need it on a piece of paper, because here's why. Number one, there's something about the act of writing things down. I just think that does something to trigger things in the brain. But number two, you're going to call up Jordo, and Jordo's going to go, hey, I don't mind looking, but I'm tied up for the next 2 weeks. I'm in Bermuda, and I need to look at it the third week of February. Well, you got to write that stuff down. So I always tell people, put a list, and then out beside Jordan's name, you could write call back February 21st.
Definitely.
And then that way you got something that you can look at, you've talked to them, make notes on it. And I think that is a big key. Number two, and this is a big one too, is every person in your emails. Go through, guys. I'm going to say it one more time. Your contact list is your capital in network marketing, because it's a numbers game. So you want as many names on there as you can. So go through all your emails, all the people that you talk to via email, put them on that list too, because it is so much easier talking to somebody that at least knows who you are. That's your warm market. Now, we can make a cold person a warm market too, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But we want to touch base with everybody that we possibly can.
I like the email, and we're getting further into the list, but it's that next tier of people that maybe we're not talking to every day.
Correct.
But we do have an email. I know, just through business alone, I have so many other connections that are in my email that are not in my phone, and that's a great list to start going through and finding new contacts.
Amen. Amen. Take the next one, brother.
Every person on social media. This is huge. We're doing the podcast for social media purposes. We're trying to grow that following. There's so many people there that we're trying to reach. And that's a big point of our podcast, our Residual Earner Instagram, our Residual Earner TikTok, is trying to find people through social media, which is just, that's the way the world is going right now. And it's time to jump on board and really start using social media to grow this business.
Yeah, that's why Jordan, he's kind of the expert in that. I'm old school, but I'm learning. I mean, you can teach an old dog new tricks every once in a while. We've made friends on social media. We may not have ever met them in person, but we've made some friends there, on Facebook or whatever it happens to be. So write all those names down. And then as you start doing other things, just write names down. And that is a big key to building that list, because social media is huge nowadays. The other one is every other list is what I call it. That means, who did you invite to the kid's wedding? Who did you invite to the birthday party? Who did you invite to the bar mitzvah? Who did you invite to who did you send Christmas cards to this year? I mean, any list that you have, get that list and write it down. If you're a young person, get your parents' list and write it down, because they know who you are. Your parents' friends know you. But every name you can think of, you're starting to realize that I'm trying to get you to put down every single person you've ever known in your entire life. Because let me say this, you never know which one is going to be the one. You just really don't.
No.
And I'm not going to do it now. I won't give examples now, but later on I'll give some examples of one person can change your life. So you put everybody down.
Definitely. So the next point on this list would be, who do you meet each day? Which one thing you're so good at is, we take an Uber. We're in Mexico, take an Uber. And you know what? Talk to the guy. What do you do to make money? Here's you a card. Call me if you want to make money. I've seen you do it at restaurants. Anywhere we go, you are so good at just talking to somebody, and you're not trying to sell them on anything, but do you look ways to make money?
Yeah. Especially, most of us go out to eat every once in a while. And if the waiter or waitress has a good personality, they do a good job, I'll always compliment them and say, hey, you're doing a great job. I really appreciate that. And then I'll say, do you do this full time? Oh, no, you do or you don't, whatever. And then I'll just look at them. I say, do you look at other ways to make money? Our company's expanding in this area. And most time they say, yeah, I'll look at other ways. And here's the key, guys. I'd give them my card, but I'll always go, what's your number? Because I want to get their number as well. Because a lot of times, even if they're interested, they throw the card down, a book gets put on top of it, they forget about it, and they don't call you. Well, if I've got their number, I'll call and go, hey, this is Presley. I was in Bob's Steak and Chop House night before last and ask you if you look at other ways to make money. And then I'll go into, hey, here's what I got. When do you have time to jump on a Zoom? Let me show you, stuff like that. But guys, unless you're a hermit living in a cave, you're meeting people every day, all day. I mean, what we do in our profession, in the networking profession, you got to get out and meet people. So I think that is huge. Okay, the next one, search for like-minded people on social media. I can always tell by the posts people put up kind of what their mindset is. And when I see somebody that's posting and it's stuff that I really like, I'll try to make contact with them because I'm thinking they think like I do a little bit. That's somebody I want to talk to. I think that is a huge one. And then, Jordo?
It goes right along with the last one is join social groups, whether it's Facebook groups, whatever it is. But there's plenty of networking groups out there. There's that, it may just be a group on Facebook. They may meet once a month, whatever it is. But join these groups because there's people in here that are looking for different ways to make money. They're looking for different avenues, and it's right there in front of you. It takes a little effort, and you can really find some great prospects in these type of places.
Yes. There's lots of clubs and groups on social media that you can join. And don't join something you have no interest in. But if it's something you have some interest in, join that and then start contributing. We want to add value to anything we do. So start adding value to that group and watch what happens. People will start befriending you, and then it'll come up.
Yep.
I mean, it'll just come up, and you'll have a chance to jump in there. I went to a stretch zone. I do stretching a couple of times a week, and there was a guy sitting there, and I started talking to him. He was an old coach, and he and I kind of hit it off because of my coaching background. And just in the conversation, I hadn't mentioned what I do. Just in the conversation, he goes, "Boy, it's getting pretty rough. I got 3 kids in college." Well, he just opened the door right then. I mean, I didn't have to do anything but drive through it. I just said, hey, do you look at other ways to make money? And he said, oh, absolutely. So I'm hooked up with him this week. And it was just sitting there just talking to people. But join groups. Groups in your own area. I mean, live groups that you can join is huge. I always tell people, if you like to play basketball, that's great. Go to the gym and play basketball and just talk to people, get to know people. If you want to be in the knitting club, great, get in the knitting club, but join a club and start knitting with people, and people will start talking about what's wrong in their lives, what they need, what they're looking for. It doesn't really matter what your likes are in life. Join some other people that like whatever you like, I guess as long as it's not immoral or illegal, but join people that are doing stuff you enjoy doing. And our business is just getting around people.
Definitely.
And again, add value, guys. I mean, we're not there to be salespeople. Add value to their life, and then just listen, and they'll say something about, my kids need braces, or I hate my job, or, oh my gosh, it's almost Monday, or they'll say things to kind of give you that clue that they're looking for something.
Definitely. My 2 outlets there are, I joined a hockey team. This is my 2nd season on that. And then obviously golf for me is a big one. I'm a big golfer. And when you spend time out on the course with people, you have plenty of time to talk to people, meet new people, and hear if they're having any problems. And, maybe the door's open for you to just let them know what's going on.
I'm going to throw this out there right now because I'll forget it if I don't. The thing that we have to understand is there are different levels of broke.
Correct.
Because you can live in a mobile home and drive an old beater car and you can be broke. Sure can. But did you realize people can live in a 6,000 square foot house and drive an SL Mercedes and still be living paycheck to paycheck? I screwed up early in my business. I'll tell a quick story here. Tom Westbrook, Tommy, was my Sunday school teacher. I get in the business. Well, Tommy is the guy that when we'd go golfing, he'd pay my golf. He drove his Mercedes, yada, yada, yada. And, I was intimidated a little bit by him in that regard. Great guy. He didn't intend to intimidate me at all. But I get in the business and I'm thinking, oh, Tommy wouldn't be interested in this. So about 4 or 5 months goes by, and I walk into a meeting here in Dallas. And as I'm walking in, I glance over, and Tom Westbrook is sitting with another guy. He comes running up to me, and his words out of his mouth, the first thing he said is, "Why hadn't you told me about this?" Well, obviously, I kept up with Tommy. He wasn't on my team because I didn't say anything, but he put in probably 1,500 people that could have been on my team.
100%.
But I was sitting there thinking he wouldn't be interested because he drives a Mercedes. And you learn, you just don't know what's going on with people's lives.
Don't prejudge.
No. My next one is attend events in person. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of stuff going on about personal growth. There's lots of events you can go to and listen to speakers. The reason I like to go to events like that is most of the people that are attending a personal growth event, they're looking to change their lives. They're looking to do something with their life.
They're motivated.
Good word. And there, sure, you get something out of the people talking, and you're taking notes, and you're learning, and you're growing, absolutely. But the thing that I like to do is every time there's a break, I'm talking to people and trying to get to know people, and I'm trying to trade cards with people, and because you just never know what's going on there. But the people that show up at those kind of events, those personal growth kind of events, tend to be, as you said, motivated.
Definitely. And I think maybe go over it. You're not trying to hard sell people. This is just an initial meeting and getting to know people and building that relationship. And then once you start adding value to people's lives, then the door can be open for you to do something there.
Every situation has a different approach. If I'm going through the checkout line in the grocery store and there's a line behind me, I got 30 seconds with that checker, I have to move quick. Yep. I mean, I've got this 30-second window. If I'm not in a rush, I'm not going to jump on them about my business. I'm not going to say, "Do you look at other ways to make money?" No. I'm going to try to get to know them.
Definitely.
And develop a little bit. I mean, we're not going to be best buddies, but I try to develop a little bit of a relationship. And then, if I know I'm going to see them the next day, I'm not even going to say anything the first day.
No.
I'll just wait. And when it passes, the next day, I may not say nothing the next day. But then by that third day, I've been talking to them for a couple of days. I think by then they at least think I'm a semi-normal person. Definitely. Then I'll say something. "Hey, I heard you mention, that you didn't really like your job. I got something you might want to look at." But every situation is different. If you've got time, though, develop a little relationship. If you can get a card, call them back and go have coffee with them, stuff like that. I think we scare people off a lot of times by just hard selling the minute we bump into them.
Definitely. I don't think anybody likes a hard sell.
No. And I learned a long time ago, I'm not trying to convince you to do my business. All I'm doing is sorting. I'm just looking for the ones that are looking. Definitely. And if you go into it with that attitude, it takes the pressure off. I'm not trying to convince you. If you don't do it, that's no problem. Still love you. Everything's great. But I'm not going to push you.
So next on the list would be searching for influencers on social media and locally. Kind of, an example of this would be what I'm starting to do with the podcast, even though it's new, is looking for others with podcasts that are bigger than us to try to collaborate with, get on their podcast, have them on our podcast, and start growing that local sphere of people that you can talk to and getting in front of more people. And when I see that point, that's kind of where my brain goes. Maybe you can throw another point in there on top of it.
Well, I think if we're out and about, we know people that just have lots of contacts. We know people that have lots of influence. We know people that just seem to know everybody. Those folks are the ones you want. And let me tell you this too. You're looking for busy people. A lot of times I'll hear somebody say, "Well, I'm going to get my brother in, man. He doesn't do anything. He's got plenty of time. He sits on the couch all the time." And I'm thinking, no, that probably ain't the right guy. I'm not saying don't talk to him, but don't get your hopes up.
If you're lazy, you're not going places.
No. If all your buddies want to do is sit on the couch, drink beer or a Coke and watch football games all the time, that's not really who you're looking for. We all know people that are motivated. We all know people that see the glass half full. We all know people that are trying to get somewhere. They may not be a success yet, but we know they're working to get there.
Correct.
That's the ones. But, when I say influencers, my gosh, it may be somebody that runs the PTA at school, the parent teacher organization. It may be somebody that runs all the volunteer things at church that knows everybody. It may be, you're just looking for people that know folks, influencers. And obviously on social media, there's people that are influencers.
Correct.
And if you can touch base with them and, like you said, collaborate with them, whatever, we want to get with people that have all those contacts.
Exactly.
Well, the next one, take up a new hobby. That kind of goes back to my point a while ago of whatever you like to do, and maybe you're wanting to get into Taekwondo. I mean, my gosh, then go join a beginner Taekwondo class, and maybe you like to shoot skeet. If you like to shoot skeet, then join a league or something. Guys, the whole key to our profession is you got to be around people. I'll tell you a quick one. Randy Hedge, my buddy and I, and by the way, you need to go watch Randy Hedge on TikTok. He's amazing. But anyway, he and I would go to a mall, and it would be a 2-story mall. I would say, you take the top floor, I'll take the bottom floor. Whoever comes back with the most cards or most phone numbers, the other guy's to buy him lunch. So we'd give ourselves an hour and a half. You'd go store to store to store, trying to talk to the salespeople, people walking,
just anybody.
anything you could do. And my line was, I'd walk into a sporting goods store maybe, and I'd be talking to a guy, and we'd be looking at tennis rackets, and I'd look at him and I'd say, "Do you own this store?" Now, I knew the guy didn't own the store, but I'd say, "Do you own this store?" He goes, "Oh, no, I don't own this store." And I'd go, "I bet you make a lot of money working here, don't you?" No, I don't make hardly anything. My company's expanding in this area, and I'm looking for some sharp people, and you look like a sharp guy. How about me showing you what we got going and see if you got any interest? You may or may not. When do you do lunch? We can meet in the food court. I mean, I would just, whatever comes off, your mind at that point in time. But my favorite one, when I would be in stores like that, I go, "Do you own this place?" "No." "I bet you make a lot of money." I really knew he didn't make a lot of money, but you want to brag on, because then they will knock their job down a little bit.
Correct. And I think that people need to understand that's a unbelievable nugget right there, because you can go do that every single day at different places prospecting.
Oh, yeah. I actually used to, guys, get this, when I was first going, I would call it television day. I'd go to every local store that sold a TV, and I'd be looking at TVs and asking questions, but I'd be there to talk to the sales guy.
Yeah.
Now, 2 things happen. 1, I'd get a couple of prospects out of the deal, but number 2, I'd be an expert on TVs by the end of the day. I mean, I knew everything there was to know about TVs, and the next day may be pickleball racket day, and the next day may be tennis shoe day, but I'd kind of give it a name, and then I'd go to different stores where I could talk to people. If you're just sitting home on the couch doing nothing, nothing's going to happen.
Correct.
You've got to get out. So if you're having a day where nothing's happening, my gosh, get to the mall, get to Walmart, get to something where there's people, and that's why you got a chance to do something.
And I'll throw one thing in there. I call them money-making activities. And when I'm sitting at home, and let's just say I got YouTube up, I'll say, you know what? This is not a money-making activity. What am I doing right now? Get back focused, get on money-making activities. Yeah. And that's what this business is about, is doing stuff that is growing your sphere of people that can join this business.
Yeah, I call it, a revenue generating activity, and that's it. I'll throw this in here, guys, and then we got to start winding this thing up. But the average American watches TV or scrolls the internet 6 hours a day. Does that not just blow your mind? 6 hours a day watching TV or scrolling the internet. By the way, I call a TV a time-wasting electronic income reducer. But anyway, people spend so much time that they could change their life so drastically if they would put that 6 hours to a positive use. But that's for another episode, Jordan. My last one on here is you can use memory joggers. If you just Google memory joggers, I mean, it'll come up with butcher, baker, candlestick maker, mechanic, banker. I mean, it'll just have a list of occupations and what you're supposed to do. Banker. Okay, what bankers do I know? Okay, what plumbers do I know? What carpenters do I know? It gives you a chance to write on there.
And you can just find that online?
Yeah, online. Just put memory jogger in there and it'll pop up. In other words, there's a thing that you can use with friends, like, you're my good friend. Friends, Friend. If you look, friends. No, not friends. What am I dreaming of? Frank. It's Frank. Friends is my first one. F stands for friends, R stands for relatives, A stands for associates, N stands for neighbors, and K stands for kids. So think about that. Friends. If you're still looking for names, who are my friends? From now and all the way back to first grade, who are my friends? Relatives. What relatives do I have? Even second and third cousins, associates. That means, who do you work with? Who do you work with now? Who did you used to work with? I mean, that's a big one. Neighbors, we got that one. And then kids. My gosh, when Jordan and Sarah Beth were small, I got a lot of my prospects from their friends' parents. And several of them in the business. Don Kerner comes to mind, his Little League baseball coach and stuff. So that's just, Frank is just kind of a way to think about friends, relatives, associates, neighbors, and kids to get you thinking in that direction of who you're looking for. And then, the only thing I just wanted to touch on this because I think we need to do a whole show on this, and we might can get Reagan on this one because I think she would be good. But with social media, I'm going to give you just a couple of tidbits, and I'm going to do this quickly because, like I said, I want to do a whole show on it, but I'll just touch it today. When you're posting on social media, I don't really feel like you should be hammering people. I think people get sold all the time anyway. I think we want to just get their attention, and I've put a couple of things here, 6 of them actually. Use social media to get attention. So, yes, be posting. If you go on vacation, post. If you're having a party at your house, post. If you're, anything that you're doing, post to get some attention to you. You use that to build trust because if they're watching you and you're at a Mavericks game or you're at your kid's Little League game or something, they're going, this is a real person. I mean, it starts building a little bit of trust, even though it's over social media.
And I think somebody which we've mentioned earlier, Randy Hedge is unbelievable with building trust on his platform.
Yeah, again, I'll say it again. Go to Randy Hedge on TikTok and look him up because he's phenomenal. If you're wanting to do some TikTok stuff, just watch some of his and he'll give you some great ideas.
You'll know you found him by the big cowboy hat.
Yeah.
He's unmistakable.
Yeah. He's a big boy, number one, and he always has a hat on. I mean, I've known him since dirt. And the only thing I've ever seen him do besides the cowboy hat is every once in a while he'll put a baseball cap on. But 90% of the time, it's a cowboy hat. You use social media to stay in touch. I see guys from high school and gals from high school that I hadn't talked to in, my gosh, 30 years. But I see something on Facebook, and I'll stick a comment in there, and I go, oh, Presley, how you doing? And it just kind of renews that relationship, which is a good thing.
Correct.
Use it to discover their why. If you'll read people's posts a lot of times, it'll tell you what they're looking for in life. Sometimes they'll be talking about, what's going on at their job, or they'll even put negative comments about, I don't like my job, or they'll put something about needing money, or and a lot of times if you'll just read through, you'll figure out their why, and then you can call and go, hey, I saw where you could use a little extra money. I might can help you with that. Yep. But anyway, that's a good thing. Use it for fun and social proof. I think social proof just means social acceptance. I think if we're at an event and we got a couple of our friends there and we got our arms around them and we're having fun, it may be our company event, but I'm not going to be pushing the company right then, but I'm just going to be there and we're all having a great time and people looking at that going, man, they're having a fun time. That must be a fun thing to be with. It just kind of puts a stamp of approval on things when you do it that way. And then the other one is, and I've used this several times, use it to get their phone number. Like it'll be a buddy that I hadn't seen in 30 years, and I'll say, hey, here's my number. What's yours, man? I'd like to catch up. And I get their phone numbers that way. So it's, social media is great. And we've got an expert that Jordan and I know that we'll get her on here with us to do a full episode on that. But I'm going to recommend with social media right now, just use it to do some of those things, not hammering people of, hey, I got this great way for us to make money. Call me now.
Definitely.
There's too much of that going on.
Yeah, and I think, this all goes back. You're building your brand. That's at the end of the day, all of this falls under the umbrella. We're building a brand. And what you decide, you need to be very careful with what you're posting and putting out there because it's either helping your brand or hurting your brand. And in network marketing, all we want to be doing is showing, hey, we're having a good time. this is the stuff we're able to do because of our, financial freedom situation. And we're putting these positive things out there to build up the brand and show the positivity it can bring.
Absolutely. And, I'll end with this, guys. We've got more momentum going right now than we've had in years. And I really believe a couple of things. One, it's people are looking. It's the first of the year.
Yeah.
Every time the first of the year rolls around, people want to lose weight and make money. I think that is really playing in right now, that lots of people are saying, I want 24 to be better than 23. And then the other thing is the economy is hurting people so bad. Price of bread, milk, and gas has gone through the roof. And for a family that's barely getting by, they're looking. Yeah, that's like Gary calling me saying, hey, inflation's eating me up. I need to join you. So I'm telling you guys, this is an amazing time to get a side hustle going. And, get one that you can make an extra little bit, or you can make an extra lot, whatever you want to make. We got a chance to turn it into a full-time gig if we're willing to put out the effort. The beautiful part about a networking business, it's your business. You can work at none and make none. You can work at a little and make a little, or you can work at a lot and make more than you ever dreamed. So it's kind of up to you.
Definitely. And again, guys, Presley wrote a book, Millionaire by Halftime. You can find it online. All of these success tips, everything we're doing, you can find it in book form, read it, learn it, and it'll really help you follow along with the podcast. It's just a great tool that we all need to be using to just learn every day, to keep on growing what we're doing, learning new things, and self-improvement is key in all aspects of life.
Yeah, and understand this. I don't use this to make money. Anything I make off of book sales, I donate to charity. I actually make money doing what I'm telling you I'm doing, and that is with networking. So understand, this is not a sales pitch so I can line my pocket. That money will go to charity, and I just want to help you get going. So
that is so awesome. Well, just thanks everybody for stopping by, whether you're on the podcast platforms, whether you're on YouTube, wherever it is, we greatly appreciate it. This last episode, we saw a lot of traction. It actually, made us smile a little bit, seeing the traction that we did have on just episode 2, seeing how many people watched it, how many hours of our stuff had been watched. It's really, really cool.
No, it's a lot of fun. And obviously we're going to get better too. I think each episode we try to get a little better, try to do a little different settings, different lighting, different this, that, and the other. So
watch ourselves figure out what we're saying too much.
Yeah.
Don't say,
Yeah. Jordan told me, he said, a lot. And he said, you said, a little bit. So I've been trying to not say, today. So
self-improvement.
That's it.
That's where we're at.
That's it. Well, God bless you guys. We love you. And we'll see you next week at this time.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping by.